Hey, welcome back to and man, we are on a journey together. It is 555 currently. Those are good numbers, you know what I'm saying? It is a Thursday, January 8th, 9th, January 9th, 2025. Man, look, 555s, it can't get any better. So this podcast is specifically to help you not only watch me in my journey, but you can also be a part of my journey. You can also document your journey and see if our experiences actually go side by side. If we actually experience some things alike, if we actually experience some things not alike, but it's to help you along the way. All right, it's a bunch of podcasts out there about forex and foreign exchange and the markets. Period. But this one right here, it's a podcast strictly for encouragement to inspire you to not only start your journey, but encourage yourself along the way because we see so many people on this journey, but sometimes we have the doubt within ourselves, and that's in anything we do. So, on this specific episode, it's 2025, y'all, the first episode of 2025. We're going to talk about the trading plan for this year. For this year, 2025. You know what I'm saying? So everything you do every day becomes your environment. So if you do nothing every day, all day, then that's what you become. A nothing all day, every day. So 2025, not only gonna watch me, but hopefully you will join me on this journey into documenting everything. All right. Not just the podcast, but the weekly analysis, learning things how I learn, and hopefully you just get one thing away from each episode. It means a lot to me. So before we get started, make sure you press that bell. Doesn't matter what platforms you're on. Make sure you press that follow button and never mix the episode. All right. I'm telling you, it may not be the best Forex podcast you ever heard in your life, but this is be the best Forex encouragement podcast of your life. We're here to inspire you. So it's like a big journal. You get to watch me do me, and I get to watch you be you. All right. So enough blah blah blah, man. Let's talk about this amazing 2025 journal that we got. This is our 2025 plan. This is my trading plan, and hopefully you'll take this and put it into your trading plan for 2025, and let's see what happens, right? So I guarantee if you put a solid trading plan together and stick to it, you will see results. All right, whether it's personally, professionally, spiritually, whatever. You put a plan together, it'll work. All right, so this trading plan is not only going to be effective for 2025, but it's effective for all levels, whether you're beginning, intermediate, or expert, pro, whatever you want to call yourself. So I put these things into place to not only make myself accountable, but to show up for myself every day. So I got a few lists. I got a checklist that I'm going to give you at the end, which is my checklist. So look, everything I'm giving you is everything that I wrote down for myself. And hopefully I encourage you to go make your trading plan for 2025. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do for this trading plan and for this year, I want to set clear goals, y'all. Man, I mean, there's goals everywhere, not just for trading, but in life. So I told my wife, man, that for 2025, I wanted to improve one thing in all aspects of my life, just one. I don't want to just work on one area, or I don't want to work on 700 things in one area or 5 areas at one time. I just need to work on one thing in one area of my life. So if I could just work on one thing to improve for trading for this year, it's amazing. If I could work on one thing to improve for my mental this year, that's amazing. If I could work on one thing to improve with my relationship this year, that is amazing. All right. So whatever goal I have for that, we're going to set clear goals. And usually you want to do this quarterly, you want to do this yearly to monetize your profits, to monetize your growth. But if you're not trading, you're just trading into a demo, you still want to be able to put those clear goals down and set them so that you can have a clear vision of where you're trying to go every day. All right. So we're going to break into these smaller goals so that you can hit major milestones. So that'll be mine. I wanted to achieve these milestones. All right. So I want to stay focused. I'm going to stay focused of being here on the chart every day at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day. That is my chart time, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. All right. I'm going to trade every day, Tuesday through Thursdays. All right. And we want to see if I can get 2 to 3 great setups. All right. If I can do that I could be content with. All right. So when I'm in these trading sessions, I'm not on my phone. That's something I'm still working with. I'm not on my phone. I'm not doing this. I'm not working on this project. I'm not reaching back out to this person. I'm not doing anything but tapping into the chart for that long, from 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. 5 hours straight. We lock it in. And then from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., I will be on the mentorship. So I'll be answering questions and everything else that I can do to anyone that has purchased the mentorship, and that we continue to give our time to them. So that's my main thing, how I can work with everybody within 2025 and still have time for myself. All right. Set clear goals. All right. Another thing I want to also stay focused in is to stick to what works. All right. I have noticed like my most successful time in trading is what I when I stuck to what I knew worked for me. All right, not what I am is telling me, not what the internet is telling me, not what everybody else is saying. If I see Bitcoin going, cool. I need to be confident. And even though I see that trade running, if I didn't look at it, if it's not in my watch list, if it's not on my things to do, then I'm okay with to miss that. All right, because there's no missed opportunities. Maybe that didn't go along with my trading plan, but I want to stick with what works. So I've learned that I am a trend trader. All right. So I want to focus on my strengths. I am a trend trader. I like following the trends. I like going with breakouts. I like being able to identify the highs and the lows, the overall highs and lows, those significant, those major highs and lows. I like to do that. I don't like to overcomplicate anything. Okay. When I start to overcomplicate things, I start to get overwhelmed and I start to overthink. So over. When you start doing those things, then it's hard to understand where I originally started. What is the bigger picture? So I want to I want to avoid overcomplicating my strategy. All right, and put in clear, concise rules that I want to follow. And if it doesn't work out or play out that day, I am content. Okay, I am content. So if you're a scalper, cool. If you trade options, cool. Actually, trading options would be perfect for a scalper because they're looking to get in just like that. Boom, boom, boom. I don't like scalping. It never works out for me. Whether I got on trade options to try to do it, whether I got on any other trading platform and try to scalp, I did not like it. So me specifically knowing who I am, I like to trade on the day time frame, which means I'm not trading on a day time frame. The time frames that I'm utilized to trade is the day time frame, the 4 hour and the one. My day is just my overall observations for me to find my trend. And if I'm gonna talk about that more on the checklist when I get into depth of of this podcast. So just bear with me. But um being able to understand who I am and follow those rules. Okay, so if I'm a trend trader, I'm going strictly with that. If I am a person that like to trade breakouts, I'm going strictly with that. If I like scalping, I'm doing everything that I could do to scalp, which means I'm only in the market for an hour or two at a time. I'm getting in and getting out in a 15-minute time frame. My two time frames I'm looking at is the 15 and the 30 minutes if I'm a scalper, right? So those are the things that I want to do, 15 and 30, knowing who I am and being comfortable with that. Okay, so sticking to what works. I'm a trend trader. I like going with the trend. I like identifying highs and lows. I like looking at the inverted head and shoulder patterns. I like double bottoms. I like double tops. I like um head and shoulder patterns. Those things work for me. I can see it with nothing, no tool, no indicator, anything on the chart. So that's what I want to stick with. Okay. So don't ask me about a how to do a VPN. I don't even know what that is. I really don't care what that is. I know. I don't ask me about a volume indicator. I really don't care about it. I know what it is. I know how to use it. I don't like it. Don't ask me about um AI bot because I don't use it, but I definitely can tell you how to use it as confluences to help yourself. All right, so knowing who you are. All right. I also within this trading plan, I wanted to focus on creating a routine, creating a solid routine around this because this is my 9 to 5, right? This is what I do. Most people that gets on these charts, they may be doing it as a hobby, maybe they're staying at home mom, maybe they want to use this to get away from their 9 to 5. Me, my story is simple. I am a U.S. veteran, Army veteran, and I have been disabled to the point where I cannot work on the outside on corporate. I cannot do a 9 to 5. Sitting down too long will start to affect some of my injuries. Standing up too long will affect my injuries. I cannot pick up a certain weight that affect my injuries. I cannot do over certain hours that affect my injuries, and I cannot be around a group of massive people because I have no immune system. So a lot of this is me being a hazard to myself. So being able to create something solid that makes me know that I'm clocking in every day at a certain time. This is my 9 to 5. Okay. So I got to dedicate specific days and times to myself. Why? Because I need to be able to do market analysis. I need to be able to execute trades. So I use this template to guide myself, right? I don't want to overtrade. I don't want to undertrade. I want to put in 5 hours a day, and that's what I want to do. All right. So to be able to make sure I'm consistent with that, I want to be able to put it into play throughout the week. So I'm specifically trading Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Monday and Fridays, I'm not trading. Mondays, I'm specifically looking at the market. Sundays usually where I try to set up everything, but if I don't get everything up and set up by Monday, I mean by Sunday, I use Monday to do that. I'm looking at the market, I'm going over the market, I'm doing my weekly analysis, seeing what I like, seeing if everything lines up. I'm going through my checklist. This is what I'm doing on Mondays. Not necessarily looking to trade, but I'm looking to find those trade ideas. Okay. So that's what I'm specifically doing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And like I said, I use Mondays for planning and Fridays for reviewing my trades. I want to be able to know how did it play out. If it didn't play out, why? What am I doing? If I held it too long, what is playing out? I want to know how long it actually took me to profit. I want to know if it hit my sell loss. Why? So Fridays is key for me. All right. So like this Friday, which is January 10th, this Friday, I'm not trading. I'm getting onto the market to see if my trades actually took off. If they did, and I want to look and see if they closed out. If they didn't close out, I want to see why. If they did close out, I want to see if it was because they hit profit or because of the hit sell loss. Like I need to know what's going on. So Fridays is me reviewing the trades. All right. Um, Another aspect in my trading plan. This is me putting it all together. So hopefully you guys writing this down and putting your trading plan together. Another key area that I put into my trading plan I want to focus on is maintaining a trading journal. Is key. I am terrible with journal. Like I do therapy and a lot of times I forget to journal because everything's in my mind. And then I get to the point where I'm journaling, I go back and reread, and now I'm refilling all these emotions. That is the point of journal. What I've learned in therapy throughout the massive many various of therapies I've been through, I've learned that journaling is meant for you to one face the emotions, you write it down to get it out. So whether it's anger or frustrations or whatever, you get all of it out. All right. Then when you read it, you may not feel like what you feel like in the beginning when you first wrote it. Then you read it again, and you may not feel technically all the way up to that point, right? So rereading and rereading and rereading, you read it to the point where um this becomes a reminder to you. So if you're reading something, and let's say in my journal, I had to talk about an event that was very traumatizing to me. So for a while, for a couple of days, that is sitting on my mind. So what I've learned in journaling is instead of avoiding it, actually let your mind keep replaying it. So on the next day, if I need to write out how am I feeling because of yesterday when I first started journaling, I need to write that down because it's going to show up somewhere in my trading. All right. If I journal and I realize as I'm journaling today is really not a good day for me to trade mentally, it's okay to take that step back. All right. It's okay. You don't have to necessarily be in the market to trade, but being able to identify what is really going on in my mind. Is it a left thought? Is it the right thought? So left thought is my intrusive thought? Is my right thought? Is my right thought? Is my logical positive thought? All right, my negative and overly thinking and overwhelming and anxiety and depression is on my left side, right? So I need to be able to identify how am I actually feeling, if these feelings are mine, and why. Okay. So that's what I'm really doing with journaling. I want to document each trade with details like the entry and the exit points. I want to talk about the reasons for entering, the outcomes. What was the outcome of that trade? I want to reflect weekly on what worked and what didn't work. So get you a trading journal. I'm telling you, it really helps whether you're just journalizing your thoughts or your trades. put everything down and then go over for that week. How was it when you first started journaling? And then today, what was your trades like? Did it actually play out? Did you get in at all? Why did you not get in? What was the reason for you to get in? Like you actually have to document everything. So that's kind of what I'm working on, right? So those are key areas in my training plan that I want to focus on. The last but not least area I want to focus on in my training plan, I want to be able to use alerts and automations. Reason why I want to be able to use alerts and automation because I love this key aspect in trading. Using alerts keeps you from over trading or spending too much time on the chart. That is the thing. Like when I first started trading, I probably spent all day, every day, 24/7, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. I'm on the chart. That's like real thing. I was on it 24/7, but you gotta be able to realize you gotta be able to look at how trading came into your life. Like trading came into my life through IM. So IM has a bunch of calls and that's going on throughout the day. They got one at 9 and they got one at 12 and they got another call at 5 and they got the last call at 9. And on these calls, you got the morning mentorship call, you got the Friday end week call, you got all these calls. All right, so you're on that thing 24/7, whether it's a mental mindset or whether you're on a trade. Then you have educators who are on the chart on certain times. So I can literally pace myself around a time to where I'm getting into the market every day. And that's what I was doing. Even though I didn't know anything, I was making something, not knowing nothing, and overly trading because I was putting too much information in my mind, still not knowing who I am. So setting alerts for these for me is key because it not only helped me to stay away from the chart, it also helped me set alerts for key levels and trends to reduce, like I said, screen time. It helps increase efficiency. It helps boost confidence, morale, and your anxiety and even your depression when you lose will reduce. So I'm telling you, man, it's bigger than Forex, man. It's bigger than that. Like sometimes you be so bad in your bag and you be going through a long week and in life, you forget that Forex is really stupid. It's you like, man, I can't figure this out. But when you start to like in Forex, get rid of the distractions, you start to really understand who you are. And that's the main thing when it comes to trading, whether it's in Forex, stocks, commodities, futures, um are cryptos, and knowing who you are and finding what works for you. Not everybody that cooked and baked bread did it the same way. All the breads don't taste the same, but they on the shelf though. So you gotta think about that. Excuse me, and I can pick and choose which bread I like. Okay. So the number of checks, excuse me, that I am looking for when it comes to validation and confirmation is 3 to 5. I am aiming to 3 to 5 key confirmations before I enter a trade. Excuse me. And so that's my main thing I'm going to do. I wanted to have 3 to 5 confirmations that's going to make me feel confident to get into the trade. All right. Uh, I want to use confirmation such as trend confirmation. I want to be or using tools such as moving averages, ADX. I can look at crossover moving averages. I can look at the 21 moving average. I can look at the 9 moving average. I can also use a 200 moving average. I can also use a 50 moving average. So using these tools to be able to add confluences to me getting into the trade. All right. I want to look for breakouts. These breakouts helps me be able to look at these key levels because I want to find the trade that obviously identify breakouts that are above or below a key level. All right. I'm only focused on those breakouts above or below a key level. I also want to look at valid trend lines. All right. I want to look at the touch points. How many touch points did this trend make before it became a valid trend? Is it a valid trend line? All right. If it is a valid trend line, how many touch points have it had? Because those matters. And then I want to also look at after 3 touch points and it has validated the confirmation of trend. Did it break? Did it break after the 4th touch point? Am I coming up on the break? Like, where am I on this trade? I want to validate trend lines and the touch points. Why? Because I want to be able to see if these touch points are valid or if they was broken out of. Okay, it's going to help me in the long run. Volume is important for me. but volume is also important to me, just like momentum. I want to be able to know where my momentum has slowed down or where my momentum is the strongest at. So I want to find the beginning of these trends. So if I'm buying, I want to find the highest point where I can buy, I mean the lowest point I can buy from. If I'm selling, I want to find the highest point I can sell from. All right. So being able to use key points like that, and then using tools such as the RSI or the MACD to be able to find divergence, right? I want to be able to know if the market is obviously slowing down and it's been selling, it's been showing consistent selling, and it's showing less and less selling pressure. I want to be able to find the divergence if the markets are already turned around. What that look like for me. So using the RSI or using the MACD or using a stochastic RSI can help you too. All right. I also wanted to utilize candlestick patterns, validations at entry points, right? These candlestick patterns, like dropping down to a smaller time frame, following these candlestick patterns can help me validate my entry points. All right, so I use chart patterns to help me find my entry. So obviously we're going to do this on a smaller time frame, such as the 1 hour. All right, so stay with me. The main thing that I'm staying focused on when it comes to my trading plan, I want to set clear goals. I'm sticking to what works. I created a routine. So whatever my routine is, I want to be able to stay within that. I want to maintain a trading journal so I can be able to document what is going on within my brain and my mind and life at that moment so that I can be able to trade. And I want to use alerts and automations because they help me stay away from overly trading, all right, and overly stimulating myself. I also in my trading plan, I put an area here that I feel like all traders should want to uh, continue to improve in. A key aspect for me is risk to rewards, knowing the real risk to rewards. All right, I'm trading with $1,000 account. This is where I started at. So hopefully you guys may not. Hopefully you guys are trading too, but it may not be 1,000. It may be smaller than 1,000. But whatever it is, make sure you're doing proper risk management. Um, I keep it down to a minimum of 1 to 2% of my account. So I'm trading no more than $10 to $20. Sometimes I can overdo that. So I want to make sure I stay mindful of myself to only trade 1 to 2% of my account. The risk to reward ratio varies from different people. I like to stick with a 2 to 1, just being honest. But some people, especially if you have a smaller account, can stick to the minimal ratio of 1 to 3. You'll be risking $10 to make 30 or higher. And this is key and it could be very profitable for trend following strategies. So I'll be able to help you guys out and show you some things about trend following strategies and be able to give you tips and tools you can use along the way. So make sure you guys stay with me, man. If you like what I'm saying so far, if you're writing all this down and getting your areas and your trading plan together as we go, make sure you hit this bell. Make sure you hit that like button. It really means a lot, and it helps me to continue to continue to bring confidence to myself, so I can put out the things that's going on in my mind and how my journey is actually going. Like I said, I've failed and won in the market in these 5 years. I want to be very consistent. So building faith back within myself and doing it for a second time. Another key area that I want to focus on when it comes to risk management is the trade size. So for Forex, I want to be able to calculate position size using a pip value base, depending on my stop loss. And like I said, I want to stay within the rule of 1 to 2%. When it comes to futures or cryptos, I just want to be able to adjust the lot size and be mindful of the leverage cautiously. Okay, that'll help me match my risk tolerance when it comes to Forex. So I want everything to stay hand in hand. Um, the reason why this is key, right? Being able to put out the structure that I want to do for my trading plan because it helped build consistency, and again it helps build confidence within my trading, not just within my trading but in the things that I'm saying, and being able to face you guys every day. Like I said, all 2025 I will be documenting myself, so you'll be able to check out the weekly analysis. I'll go over key topics such as trend lines, chart patterns, highs and lows, how I'm looking at the market, and give you tips and tools, different ways of how I look at it, and hopefully it can help you. Like I said, I also made point you and direct you to other mentors that'll be able to help you along the way. Maybe you can join their academy or something. I do have options where you guys can get on to our mentorship. We only have 3 positions left, the slots left. We're only accepting 5. We have 2 for this year, so we're only accepting 5. So if you are looking to get some mentorship along with your trading journey, make sure tap in. All right. So, but you can definitely stay tapped in with us free on YouTube. Okay. We have some hidden gems. So if you don't have the mentorship, you won't be able to get to those hidden gems. All right. Um, so on top of that, the main thing I want you guys to like I said, I want you to stay focused in everything you're doing throughout the week, because it means a lot. I also want to break down again developing a weekly trader routine. So you want to fix the main thing I want to do, and hopefully you do as well. Stay focused on creating a structured plan for each week. All right. Let's break it down a little bit more for some examples. So hopefully you can write this down, and at the end of this, you'll have a full trader plan. Mondays, like I said, is straight for me analyzing the market. So on Mondays, I want to analyze the market, look for the trend direction and key levels. Tuesday and Thursdays, I want to execute trades. All right, so that's what I'm looking to do on Tuesday and Thursdays. And Fridays, I'm only looking to journal and review my thoughts for the week. I actually journal every day, and I do an overall journal about the week on Friday. But if you want to do it weekly, that helps too. Um, but this will help you build discipline, like it's helping me build discipline. And I promise you, man, it helps me stay aligned with my goals and my purpose. Again, the number of checks to make sure I get into the market would be a good 3 to 5. So if I don't have a good 3 to 5, I'm not getting in. So I want to master breakout confirmations. These going to help me. These is going to help me find those 3 to 5 confirmations to get into the trade. So focusing on perfecting how I distinguish breakouts. All right. I want to be able to identify obviously a breakout from a fake out. So using tools like volume indicator, that helps on the breakout. Candlestick patterns helps for a breakout. Retest of the breakout level to confirm valid volatility or validity. It just means to confirm how valid the confirmation is. And honestly, out of all these, when it comes to master the breakout confirmation, I actually like the retest of the breakout level to confirm even better. All right. I also will use the candlestick patterns, so I'll be looking for strong bullish or bearish engulfing candles. Or I'll be looking for chart patterns like an inverted head and shoulder, or a head and shoulder pattern, something like that. So I'm those when it comes to those confirmations, that's what I'm looking for. I stick to what I know best. I don't necessarily lean too far into the volume indicator or um, any other indicator that tells you volume, because I have other ways that I look into the market that helps me with the momentum and the volume. So being able to just look at the plain chart and using the breakouts method helps. So and that's something I could do with a naked eye. Again, I want to expand on the risk to reward ratio. So I want you to redefine position sizing. So I want you, like I said, focus on calculating position sizes accurately for every trade. You don't want to risk no more than 1 or 2%. So use a position size calculator. You can go on Google and use a PIP calculator, and it'll help you monetize your risk to reward. All right. So and then we go down. It'll even get to it. I'll try to get the link below. I'll try to add the link below. That way you can click it and you can play around with this pip calculator, and it'll help you in your trading. And also you can be able to put how much you invested in, and it'll help you identify that specific 1% and tell you how much you should use in the trade. All right. So I'll try to put that below. Um, Another thing, like I said, when it comes to these key areas, is trend identification. I want to focus on the trend line analysis. Like I said, those trend lines, those trend following techniques, those trend following tools that'll help me identify the trend. So I want to spend time improving how I draw and interpret trend lines. I want to pay attention. These are things that I put in my trading plan that I want to pay attention to. I want to pay attention to identify valid highs and lows. I really don't care about the highs and lows that are happening on a smaller time frame. I want to identify this on a higher time frame, the valid, the significant, the major highs and lows. All right, so being able to do that will help me recognize which direction the trend is in, as well as recognizing when the trend line either is broken or respected. All right, I want to know, because if I can identify a nice solid trend line that has three or more touch points, I can identify how solid this trend is. And then if I also see a breakout of the trend line, I can know how to maneuver into the market that way. So being able to put that and keep a mental note will help me. I also want to utilize tools that be able to help me along the way, such as trend line tools like moving averages to be able to identify a trend, pivot points to be able to identify a trend, pivot highs and lows to identify a trend, and one more. It's called a quantitative trend line. That'll help you too. All right. And I'll do a video probably next week that'll do trend line tools that you can use. And I'll show you different tips and different ways you can use these tools to help you if you are a trend trader. Now, you don't have to necessarily be a trend trader to like some of these tools, but I'm just telling you what works for me. All right. Stick it to what works for me. When it comes to my time frames, I want to redefine how I look at my time frame analysis. So using multiple time frame analysis, like I told you, I'll start up observed on a day time frame, but I'm looking at the 4 and the 1. That's kind of where I'm staying. So I want to focus on integrate insights from the daily, like I said, and the 4-hour chart. For example, um, if I decide I want to use the daily to set the overall direction, that's kind of what I do. Like I said, on the daily, I am going to specifically use the daily to set the overall direction. Is the market buying or is the market selling? Then I'm gonna drop down to the 4-hour and use the 4-hour to refine support and resistance and trend lines. Okay, so on my 4-hour, only thing I'm looking at is my major support and resistance and my trend lines. That's all. And then I'm gonna drop down to my 1 hour and I'm gonna use the 1 hour for precise entries and exits. I'm gonna look at chart patterns. I'm gonna look for trend continuation. I'm gonna look for the exhaustions. I'm gonna see where we are in the market. All right. I'm going to use that to specifically get into market or to get out of the market. All right. TPs and SLs and entries. So this is kind of where you can use your trading plan and find out what hours or what time frame best suits you, and you'll be able to adjust it accordingly. Okay. So again, by me focus on just one aspect, I'm able to avoid overwhelming things and focus on those tangible things so I can be able to grow in confidence. All right. So the daily time frame honestly is meant to do a few things. So here's the bigger picture when it comes to my daily time frame. And I'm gonna break the daily, I'm gonna break the 4-hour down even more. And so that when you leave, you have an even more detailed trading plan. Okay. So I want to identify my trend direction on my daily time frame. The questions that I'm asking myself is the market trending up? Is the market trending down? Is it going sideways, consolidation? What is going on? I also want to ask myself, what type of tools am I using? Am I using the moving average to determine the trend? Am I using trend lines to determine the trend? Am I using the pivot points, or am I looking to use trend line tools? Okay, or the ADX? Which tools am I using? All right. The second thing I'm looking at when it's to my daily time frame, I'm asking myself, uh, where do I identify my major support and resistance zones? Not my line, but my support and resistance zones. I want to be able to mark those key levels, all right, on my daily time frame. I want to identify major support and major resistance zones. That's all I want to do. All right. And then I want to highlight supply and demand zones. So, excuse me, again, on a daily time frame, I want to identify the trend direction. I'm asking myself, is the market trending up? Is the market trending down? Is it going sideways? Is it consolidation? I want to think about the tools that I'm gonna use on that time frame, which is the daily time frames. I'm gonna use a trend line. Am I using my Fibonacci to identify the overall high and low? Am I using my quantitative trend line tool? What trend tools am I using to identify? All right. And then I'm looking at looking at areas I can mark as key levels. I'm identifying major support and resistance zones, and then I'm highlighting support. I'm highlighting supply and demand zones. Okay. Um, Another thing when it comes to my higher time frames, such as the day, uh, I'm looking at for breakouts. I'm looking for potential breakout areas. All right. Are price levels near critical breaking points? All right. That's what I'm looking at. Consolidating. There's the trend line touch points. Does the trend line has touch points? How many touch points did the trend line have? All right. Where are we at? And are we close to those price levels? That's what I'm looking for. And then again on my daily time frame, I want to spot patterns. All right. If you can spot these patterns on a higher time frame, when you drop down, it's easier to find those precise entries and exits because you'll find the chart patterns there. So I want to be able to identify any chart patterns such as flags, double tops, head and shoulder patterns. My thing that I can identify with nothing on the chart, just the candlesticks, I can identify a double top, which is a M formation pattern, and I can identify double bottom, which is a W formation pattern. So I also can identify the triple top. I also can identify a triple bottom, and I can identify head and shoulder patterns as well as an inverted head and shoulder pattern. So those chart patterns sticks out to me that I don't even have to try. Some people can point out pendants. Some people can point out descending channels. Some people can point out ascending channels. Some people can point out wedges. But I can specifically point out these chart patterns so they make it key for me. And these I use as a strengthness. For my 4 hour time frame, it's all about refinement. And when this refinement happens, what we doing? We're looking for trade ideas. On my 4 hour, we're looking for some setups. We're looking for some, what can we get into? Can we get in some trouble in the market? Can we actually win? Can we not? Like, what can happen? All right. So the first thing I'm looking at my 4 hour, I want to confirm the trend direction. All right. So does the 4 hour chart align with the daily trend? If not, what we gotta do to help it align? Check for continuation, and you want to check for reversal signs. Those are key on the 4 hour time frame. And then you want to go and look at those refined key levels that we were talking about on the daily time frame. We will go obviously look at the major support and resistance levels. We're going to look at those key levels, and then we're going to adjust the support and resistance and the trend lines to make them more precise. All right. So we can go from wick to closing of a candlestick. But we want to adjust it from the daily to the 4 hour, adjust the highs and the lows, adjust the support and resistance levels to get a more concise uh, look at the market for the 2 time frames. All right, so you want to make the time frames align. You want to look for areas where price has reacted multiple times. And when I do like a lesson, when it goes over, it's going to go over trend lines and support and resistance. I'll throw a little trick in there to help you be able to identify price areas where price has reacted to that zone multiple times. After that, I'm going to check for breakout or rejection signals, and I told you that's part of the trading plan. So the main thing I want to do is observe how price behaves around critical levels. I want to look for volume or candlestick confirmation, like I said. And that kind of reiterates what I was saying when I was breaking down the trading plan. I want to be able to look for volume. I want to look for candlestick patterns. Like I said, I don't really care about the volume. You can use the volume indicator, but with that, I'll probably use a RSI or a MACD to look more for volume for me. All right, and then I want to add confluences. I want to use an additional indicator, like I said, a RSI or a momentum or a MACD for the crossover. So, like I said, you gotta use what works for you. If there's another indicator that works best for you, then work that. For my 1 hour, this is my execution and for entry and exits. All right, so my 1 hour time frame, this is what I'm looking at. One, I'm checking entry criteria. So this is what for me to enter, this is the criteria I must look for. Is the trend continuing or reversing? And the second thing I'm asking myself, is there a breakout with the retest, or am I finding the trade within the trend line channel? All right, so am I looking at this as a break and retest, or is the Trend going along with the trend line? Is it bouncing off the trend line? Has it broke the trend line? Like, what is it doing? Then I'm going to move into my second phase, which is identifying entry points. How I identify those points is that one, I use candlestick patterns for confirmation. I'll look at the engulfing, I'll look at pin bars. Honestly, uh I'll ensure myself about what I'm looking at. I don't just strictly stick to candlesticks because I feel like if you get stuck on the candlestick, you can get lost. So I focus on more things and more key points like trend line breakouts, support and resistance breakouts. These things is what helps me being able to identify entry points. So ensure alignment with my strategy, and I'm going to look for breakout points, trend line breakouts. What? All right. So um, uh, the next thing that I'm looking into after I look at the check entry criteria and I have identified entry points, I'm looking at my set. I'm looking to set my stop loss. With my stop loss, I just honestly I generally place my stop loss below or above recent swing highs or swing low, or I will also set my stop loss above or below a key support or resistance level. So I don't really get into heavy when it comes to entries. I know some people may divide this, add this, multiply this. I'm not about to do all that. I'm going to specifically look for my previous highs or lows. I'm going to look at the key level of support or resistance, and then I'm going to find um my sell loss there. I also will use my pivot points too. I'll use my pivot points too, and I'll show y'all that when I do some tips and tricks. But I'll use my pivot points. I love pivot points. I'll use my pivot point indicator to set my stop loss as well. So I'll just do it a little bit below that stop loss, depending on where it at, and it helps me get into the trade too. So uh, after I set my stop loss, I determine my take profit. All right. So we worked on what we gotta do to enter the trade. Then we identify entry points, which means where we're gonna get in the trade at, if it's aligned with our trading plan or our trading strategy. And then we looking at this where we're gonna set our stop loss. We looked at uh the highs and lows. So the next thing we're gonna do is determine where we take our take profit. Like I said, I do a risk to reward ratio of a 2 to 1. You can do a 3 to 1, you can do a 4 to 1. You can use this basically off of what makes logically sense to you. So use a logical level based on the daily 4 hour chart or a fixed rate ratio. So I want you to either use your charts to determine where you're gonna take profit, or you're going to use your ratio to reward to do a take profit. You can say I'm gonna trade from this zone to this zone. I'm gonna trade from this high to this low. If price break here, I'm gonna trade from this pivot point to this pivot point. Whatever you had designated, uh, whatever you had designated a way to get out as a take profit, then that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna determine what acknowledge your take profit. And I ain't gonna say acknowledge. What determines your take profit? That's what you're gonna think about. And then last but not least, you're going to think about your position size. All right. I want you to double check, double check, double check, double check, double check. This is where a lot of traders are falling. I've fell into that too. And this is where a lot of my confidence, a lot of my self doubt has happened. You only want to trade 1 to 2% of your account, your whole account. So I need you to re-evaluate your position size. All right. If you only can take one trade on your $50 account, that's all you need. On your $100 account, you only can do one. That's all you need. On your $1,000 account, you only can do three. That's all you need. Don't overtrade and don't overstimulate yourself to force these trades. All right. Double check. You only want to do 1 to 2% of your account. So as we wrap up this trading plan, I'm going to give you my pre-trade checklist that I use. All right. And with this checklist, um, it's going to help you basically center some things. So in this pre-trade checklist, I want you to one, determine the trend. All right. Trend direction confirmation across all time frame is needed. All right. Two, I want you to look at key levels marked and validated. All right. Three, breakout or rejection confirmation with volume or patterns. Four, Risk to reward ratio meets minimal. You could do a 1 to 3, or you could do a max of 2 to 1, 3 to 1, or 4 to 1. I don't really advise you to go higher than that. I think 2 to 1 is enough, then a minimum of 1 to 3. But whatever, whatever floats your boat. And then I want you, like I said, double check, double check, double check your position size and stop sets correctly. I want you to do that each time you get into the trade. So this is a, like I said, a pre-trade checklist. For you to break down this pre-trade checklist, I'm going to go through this briefly, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I definitely wanted to expand on the checklist. So to get in depth of the checklist, we already got the trading plan out the way. Let's do the trading plan checklist. All right. Like I said, me, I like to swing trade. I like to do I like to execute for off the daily time frame, but you can be a day trader, you could be a swing trader, you could be a scalper, whatever you decide to be, but make sure you create a checklist that helps you. So this checklist specifically is geared towards swing trading. So if you're a day trader, I want you to create a checklist that's geared toward day trading and things that help you to get into the trade, right? If you're a scalper, I want you to create this checklist that's geared towards scalping. All right, so um, I want to determine the trend on a daily time frame. I want to look at the overall trend direction. Again, I want to look at, is the market trending up, down, or sideways? Is it consolidating or is it ranging? The next thing on this daily time frame, I want to use moving averages, trend lines, or other trending tools that are going to help me be efficient and to identify the trend. The next major thing I want to do on this daily time frame is mark key levels, and we talked about that. The major support and resistance levels, the supply and demand levels. So I want you to be able to identify major support and major resistance zones where price is likely to react. Use the zones instead of a line. They're going to help you. All right. And then you're going to highlight any supply and demand zones. So you can be able to know where you at in the market, whether you're buying or you selling. And then I want you to look at transition points. All this is happening on a daily time frame. The reason why you're going to look at transition points because you want to be able to ask yourself, are there signals of buyers switching to sellers or vice versa? Are you able to look for consolidation areas or potential breakout zones? Am I at accumulation phase or am I at a distribution phase? Where am I at? All right, I'm at the beginning of the trend, at the end of this trend. It's a mature trend. Am I at the or this is it? Or am I at the end of this trend, or am I looking at a mature trend? I'm looking at a premature trend. Like, what am I looking at? On a 4 hour, it's all about market context. So I want to one assess current market position. I want to ask myself, is price at a key support or a key support level or a key resistant level? Has price broken above or below that key level? This is all happening in a 4 hour, and I'm just going back over the trading plan itself, but this is just out of checklist. I want to identify breakout potential. Look for early signals of a breakout, strong momentum. You can use the MACD, you can use the RSI to identify these potential breakouts. You could check for a retest of a breakout level. And that's what I do. I like to, like I said, check for a retest of a breakout level to confirm that for me, that reversal for me. And then I want to spot reversals or continuation, use candlestick patterns such as pin bars to confirm trend continuations or trend reversals. That's all that's happening in 4 hours. And again, I'm going to I'm trying not to stress this so much on the 1 hour. I'm only looking for entries and exit points. Find precise entry points. All right. I want to confirm breakout retest or trend line touch points. I want to use candlesticks formations and additional tools for entry confirmation, such as the MACD. I want to set stop loss. Place my stop loss above or below recent swing highs and swing lows. Major key support resistance levels. And then I want to plan for my exit. I want to identify logical take profit levels based on the daily or 4 hour key level zones and trend extentuations. And you can use that with the Fibonacci extension. The final checklist, and before I say this, like I said, I do daily 4 and 1. You can really just do the 4 and 1. But if I need to, I'll drop down to my 30 minutes. My 30 minutes will replace what my 1 hour did. So I'll just basically do everything I was doing in my 1 hour, my 30 minutes. But that is optional. All right. I really stick to the daily 4 and 1. So my final checklist before execution, I want to one, trend alignment across all time frames, daily, the 4 and the 1. 2, I want to do price action at key levels. Look at my major support and resistance levels. It will have there been a breakout at those levels? Am I at that level to look for a breakout? All right. 3, I want to look for clear entry signal confirmations on the 1 hour. I can use my 30 minutes if I need to. And the fourth thing I want to do on this checklist is a risk to reward ratio. Like I said, the minimum for 1 to 3, the max of 2 to 1. You can do 4 to 1 you want to, but 2 to 1 is enough for me. And fifth thing I want to do on this checklist before I get into a trade, and I want to look at my stop loss and the position size that I set. Make sure they're properly set. All right, this approach keeps me focused and it keeps me aligned with what is important, which is the trend. I want to refine my entries. I want to refine my exits. I want to align everything perfectly with my trading style. And that's what you got to do. So the thing I want to do for you is I want to make sure you trade correctly. So again, if you have a larger account, you can do a 2 to 1. But if you have a small account, I recommend you do 1 to 3. So here's some key considerations I want you to keep in mind between the 2 to 1 ratio and the 1 to 3 ratio. The 2 to 1 ratio is great for traders who prefer more frequent wins, all right, while still trading and maintain a solid profit. 1 to 3, it's more for the beginners, is more suitable for traders who are comfortable with fewer wins but larger payouts. So if you don't care about getting large win, you don't care about having like 10 trades and you're really just going in for two, then you want to do a 1 to 3. But if you want to look for more trading opportunities, um, while maintaining your solid profit, then you can do a 2 to 1. But I want you to be able to do what's best suit your trading style and your trading account. So, man, we went through a lot. Like I said, we went to how the trading time frames, we to the in depth of this trading plan. We go over what type of trend trader I am. We went in depth on these time frames. We looked at what type of tools you can use in trend trading. You go also well, we looked at what type of tools you could use. We looked at the time frames and the steps that it takes for you to get in there. And through all this, man, I was thinking about what's to cook. I was thinking about what's next for my next business, what I gotta do for next project. All this is still happening. Life is still lifing. While guess what? While I'm looking at the Forex market, while I'm talking about the Forex market, while I'm talking about the financial market, period. So at any point of time, while I'm going through this, I can say Forex is stupid. And I agree. Sorry I can't pull my camera over where you guys can see me, but know that I'm here. So make sure you guys follow us on our community, which is Master the Mind and Master the Market on Facebook. You will get the link below. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the journey. Everything I'm documenting is literally just my journey. So I'm not looking to be a guru. I'm looking to put 20 years into it, 5 years down. So I'm looking to put 20 consistent years into it. And this first year, you're going to watch me redo everything all over from the beginning while documented. So this is a trading journal on all trading platforms and all the trading gurus and teachers is out there. I am only showing you my journey. So hopefully you can join this journey with me and you can tap in as well. And if you need some mentorship, make sure you check out my email. Hit me up on the email. Tell me what your mentorship needs, what do you need, and I'll point you in the right direction. I am the Forex plug, man. I am the foreign exchange or the financial market plug. I'm going to point you in the direction that you need to go. All right. So make sure you get you some affirmation merch at pegstyles.com. Also, make sure you go check out PEG Podcast to get you some positive affirmations and some positive people around you that's showing you whether you're an artist, whether you're an entrepreneur, doesn't matter what you do, they're doing the same thing you're doing, except they're telling you about their experiences. Okay. So I mean that's all I got for you. I can sit here and ramble and keep going, but make sure you guys keep tapping in. I think after this episode, I'm going to stop and talk about some trading podcasts on top of this podcast you can tap into, as well as some trading books. So we'll probably go over resources and materials that you can tap in for trading. I have read these books as well as I watch and monitor and is a part of these Forex trading podcast as well. So I'm just really giving you everything that works for me. Hopefully it works for you. If it don't, throw it away. If it do, keep it. And man, I hope to see you next time here at Forex is Stupid. Yeah, Forex is stupid, man. See you next time. We outie 5,000.